Yeah.
Annie, I got a question for you. And this is something that we continue to see with clients, especially we deal with a lot of startups that are just starting to gain traction, and we help with their organic traffic and everything. We see, as soon as we start to see a client kind of take on some visibility with search engines, the referral spammers start their attacks.
Yeah.
And we have clients that literally will have a significant percentage of their, of course, it's fake traffic because these people aren't even actually arriving at the site. They're just basically hitting a pixel tag, off of a script or something. And it just in my opinion, it seems like Google just doesn't care that that's happening. Is it? We go around it. Our approach is the same way that you're doing. Look, let's put campaign tagging on everything. Let's do everything. But is there any relief to referral spam? And for people listening, that's basically you got these jerks out there that fake like they came to your site just so that they show up on your analytics.
Right.
Yeah. So to that issue, there was a guy whose, I believe his site was penalized by Google and just a few months ago. He's a Russian gentleman and he got really, really pissed. And so he brought in a host of a whole new kind of referral spam where he was targeting the languages. So if you went into like your default report, if you open up Google Analytics and you see that that audience overview report, you would see all of these weird languages, like you'd see messages about Trump and all kinds of
Vitality.
Weird stuff. I think his name was Vitality or something. Anyway, and so Google did eventually get in front of that for the most part. So that's dropped off significantly. They were a little more sophisticated with that because the sources were showing up as legitimate sources. So if you went into like your referral report or something like that, you were seeing like, whoa, we're getting all this traffic from Reddit and Post and I think ABC and stuff like that, but it was all just referral spam. So there are a few things that you can do to guard against referral spam. One is there's a setting in your view settings. So if you go to admin view settings, with the launch of Universal a couple years ago, they gave us this bot filtering option. The weird thing though is that they made it opt-in. So I don't know why they did that because obviously no one's going to be angry about Google filtering out their bots and stuff, But these are the types of issues where I think sometimes it just comes down to the people making these decisions aren't actually, they're not practitioners. They're not working in Google Analytics, opt-in's important. We'll do that, but so absolutely at that, the first thing you should do is opt in.
Yeah, we've done that, but we still see just a ton.
It's like whack-a-mole. It truly is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's not doing anything to protect against the language spam. Yeah. So the language spam is an issue all of its own. So another thing you can do, like there's this report called the host names report.
Okay, that's right.
And it's kind of buried in Google Analytics. It's under audience, technology, network. And then right above the timeline, you see something called primary dimension, total geek speak. But you have to change that from network to host name. And simply put, that's just a list of all the subdomains that have your Google Analytics tracking code. It's a good way to find if like sites are scraping your content.
Oh, great.
But you'll also see in there referral spam. So you'll see that RU sites, Russians love to, so there are a lot of times quite a few of RU sites or .ru and just .xyz, crazy stuff like that. So one thing that you can do, and not everyone's going to be able to follow this, but you can do an include filter that only includes your domain. So I set up an include filter for my domain that just says, you know what, only show me traffic to the host name of annielytics.com. And then that field is sensitive to regular expressions. So, I mean, you can just put in your domain, you can,
Right.
put in regex, whatever. And that helps fortify your site against referral spam. So my site didn't get hit with all that language spam. But I did have a client that still got some language spam, and they had that include filter set up. If you still see referral spam, then you need to look and see like what field it's showing up in. So if you're still seeing like language spam, then just look for commonalities and filter out by language. So you would go into an exclude filter, choose language, and then like for one client, I just included Google.com, not Google, because this guy used, it's a character that looks like a capital G, but it's actually an odd character. And so I thought, well, you know what, he could also use other variations. But when I put in Google.com, it caught it. And then I put in Trump, and I think there was one other keyword that I saw frequently in the languages.
Right.
And I just set up this exclude filter. And now their spam is pretty copacetic.
Nice.
Now, Annie, you said you weren't going to go geek speak.
I know, but he asked.
Yeah.
He incited it.
Well, and it just amazes me that it just appears that Google isn't even trying to do anything to remedy this.
No, you're absolutely right.
I mean, people are hijacking their platform basically, and they don't even care.
Yeah, I think that there are things that Google could do right off the bat, because I mean, all of this, it's just all ones and zeros.
Yep.
It's all regex. It's kind of like the campaign tagging. There's no reason for them to make medium case sensitive.
Right.
And I've been complaining about this at every conference I've gone to where lawyers have been speaking. I have brought this to their attention. I'm like, guys, you have no idea the wreckage that this one really bad decision causes in, like publisher sites,
Yeah.
So like with this issue of referral spam, I think that when someone sets up their site, Google could have like a very simple process that they go through. Like, what domains do you want included in this
referral traffic?
In this
Absolutely.
property?
Yep.
And then you just enter the domains. You don't have to use regex. You don't have to do any of those things that you have to do now.
Right.
And then Google just filters out everything else. Like, I just think that there are steps that they could take to insure against these things. Like, there aren't that many languages. So, they could have locked that down. They could have said, you know what, in the event anyone tries to spam this, we only accept these languages, because, chances are there aren't going to be new languages invented.
Right.
And so, like, there are things that they could do. And even as long as it went on, like, in my mind, again, I understand large organizations are kind of slow moving machines, but there was so much angst about this language referral spam. So I'm like, guys, I could have created that piece of regex for you in like less than 10 minutes. This isn't a tough fix. So, so I was a little put out that it took them as long as.
Well, especially when businesses are making decisions based on this data.
Oh,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I mean, as a professional, you're aware of these situations. Like, I'm always surprised every year, the reports come out on, how much of your Google Analytics traffic is bot traffic, And so people are focused on bounce rates and focused on this, but they don't even take into consideration that, hey, maybe 30% of our traffic is fake, and that's why our bounce rate is, ridiculous,
Yeah, absolutely. And people are my biggest issue with getting data as pristine as possible is, there are many times very human implications to that. Like, I mean, businesses are investing their kids' college funds
absolutely.
to get their startup going. You know, like there are very, you know, people's jobs can be on the line. I did an analytics audit for one publisher. They had fired 3 different agencies because they weren't getting results.
It was all about their analytics.
It was.
Ah.
It was. They had trashed their data so badly.
Right.
Because the 4th consultant that they brought in, she said, I'm not even going to, I don't mean this self-congratulatory, but she said, I'm not even going to touch this site until you bring in Annie Cushing to look at your.
That's
There it
awesome.
is.
Yeah. And so when I came
You're like
in,
the equalizer. You know that?
well, I don't know about that.